It's kind of unresolved business for you.
Yes, yes.
For 14 years, Frank Soenius was known only as Witness O.
The full story's never been told.
It was on the news, but it's not the full story. No, no.
The Dutch drug trafficker turned Crown witness, whose evidence would eventually help solve the Samantha Knight case and bring Michael Guyder to justice.
He told me, if I come clear with everything I've done, I will die in jail.
Do you believe in evil?
Yes, I believe now in evil.
Frank's story begins in July 1996 with a suitcase. On his arrival on a flight from Amsterdam to Sydney, police found $2 million worth of ecstasy tablets hidden inside.
Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you.
Sentenced to 11 years, he ended up in Lithgow's maximum security jail, where, suffering from depression, he became a target for other prisoners.
How hard was it inside prison?
Oh, it was terrible. And I was severely bashed, and I broke my cheekbone and 3 of my teeth. I went to hospital, and when I came back from the hospital, they put me in the protection wing.
And it was there, in the protection wing, that Frank Soenius first met Michael Guyder.
But he was the first one who looked into my window and said, "Can you play chess?" And I didn't want to talk with somebody, but in the end, there was nobody in the wing, so I said, well, let's have a go.
For 8 hours a day, while the other inmates were at work, the 2 men were left on their own. As a foreigner, Frank Soenius knew nothing of Michael Guyder's crimes. But for nearly 8 months, over many games of chess, he became Guyder's closest confidant. Piece by piece, the pedophile began to reveal his crimes.
What did he tell you that he did with children?
Give them a drink, and when they were unconscious or not awake, he made photographs.
Then a shocking admission. Guyder confessed to Soenius he'd picked up a child called Sam. He'd taken her to a shed and he'd drugged her. This time, things didn't go according to his plan.
She woke up because she was in pain. And she said, "Michael, what are you doing?" So she recognized it was Michael.
And what did he say to you that he did?
He gave her another drink with another tablet, and she fell asleep again.
Guyder says he left the shed and returned 2 hours later.
Then he said, "I found Sam laying on the couch."
And was she alive?
No, she was dead.
So this is 12 years after Samantha Knight has died.
I know now. Yeah.
So did the name Sam mean anything to you at that stage?
No. No.
Guyder claimed he buried her close by. 18 months later, fearing her body would be disturbed by construction work, he says he dug up her remains.
He said he put her in a garbage bin, a big garbage bin, where he always put the rubbish in. Mm-hmm. And the rubbish goes up on top, and he drove it to where the rubbish goes, and he said it was taken away. And
Frank, that little girl had a mum and dad.
yeah, that's true.
It's horrible.
It should never happen, but it did.
By now, police were also closing in on Guyder.
Another box. Used to be a scrapbook.
They found a lockup filled with his scrapbooks, news clippings of missing children, and thousands more photos, including pictures of Samantha clearly drugged. Frank agreed to become a Crown witness. His evidence of Guider's jailhouse confession would be critical.
When Frank came forward, it gave us not only great evidence, but it gave us that what happened to Samantha. He actually gave us evidence of what Michael allegedly did with Samantha. It came from a person who never came from Australia. He didn't even know who Samantha Knight was. In fact, he only knew the little girl as Sam.
And that was significant to you because where else could he have got this information from?
Absolutely. It could only have come from the mouth of Michael Guider.
In 2002, under the weight of the evidence against him, Guider cut a deal. He pleaded guilty to manslaughter rather than murder, claiming he'd accidentally overdosed Samantha. Plea was accepted and he was sentenced to 17 years in prison.
Do you believe Michael Guider murdered Samantha Knight?
Yes. He probably panicked and put a pillow on her or strangled her, or because he was in shock, because she called his name.
And that's what you think happened, isn't it?
That's exactly what I think what happened.
The public outcry.
For Detective Chief Inspector Darren Sly, there is still unfinished business in the Samantha Knight case. He doesn't accept Michael Guider's explanation about what happened to Samantha's remains.
He just won't tell us. There's a point where he just can't bring himself to tell us. That's what I'd like to think anyway.
Which suggests he's still got something to hide, doesn't it, Darren?
Well, something to hide, or he's just so scared that once he delivers that one final piece of information, he has nothing more to offer to anybody.
My name is Chantel. I was one of Mr. Guider's last victims.
Nearing the end of his sentence and eligible for parole this month, Michael Guider is moving closer to freedom.
Mr. Guider is a predator. He is a repeat offender. The only reason he has not offended in the last 20 years is because he was locked safely behind bars.
Every year, Chantel writes to the parole board to remind them of the impact of his crimes.
I can remember his assaults like it were yesterday.
The Samantha Knight case is kind of like a bogeyman, isn't it?
Yeah,
You could have been that child.
I know. No, I know. Could have easily been that child. And that's just terrifying. Thank God. Thank God it wasn't me, and horrible for Samantha and her family. But that's why he shouldn't get out.
Michael Guider may have stolen the innocence of Chantel's childhood, but she doesn't let him define her life.
It still hurts, but I've got a good life now, and you know, I forgive him because I don't want him in my life. I don't, and me carrying around a hate towards him is not letting him go.
You're worried about what friends, family who don't know about this are going to think about you.
Yes.
Why are you doing this?
Because he can't get out. I'll do anything I can to keep him locked up. I just think it's my responsibility to see it through now.